Welcome back to Bristol, where we're working the 6th caution flag of the day. Sterling Marlin sending Johnny Benson into the turn 1 wall. Benson out of his car, surveying the damage and not pleased. The spotters for Benson and Marlin talking it over. Now they're right up on top of the front straightaway. That's a change from last year here, where they were up above turn number 3. New spotter location. Pretty much right in front of the incident there. Dick Berggren.
Well, Rusty Wallace is concerned about the front tire. He just rubbed into another race car. He's asked his spotter to take a look at it. They've also asked other drivers to take a look at it. He just is very concerned. He's also concerned about the 23 of Hut Strickland. They've asked him to get out of the way, or he'll be the next caution flag. Matt?
Dick, earlier in the race, Mike Skinner survived a possible flat tire, but he couldn't survive the lug nut that fell off on his last pit stop. It dropped him from 4th to 21st, but he has quietly and Larry Mack patiently worked his way back up to 11th from 21st. But also one note, keep your eye on the 21 car. He's a tick tight, but quietly moved back into the front.
Gordon takes the restart green flag. Trying to clear Strickland. He's not going to be able to do it this time.
You know, one thing I always try to tell my spotter and my crew chief is tell me who that is that's up beside of me.
Hut Strickland opened the door for Jimmy Spencer in the 41. He took the lead there. Well, Tony Stewart going to the bottom right here.
Spencer got by, and here comes Tony.
Gordon could not clear the lapped car and paid the price, falling to 3rd.
But I always like to know who that guy is looking on the inside of me, because every driver has a kind of a history, a track record, if you will. And sometimes you want to give some of them a little more room than you do others.
But Darrell, the last 2 restarts, Hut Strickland had nothing for the race leader. Well, this time he did.
Well, he got in front this time.
Defending race champ Elliott Sadler got his fenders pinched a moment ago. In the middle of 3 wide, now with Mike Skinner and Steve Park. Elliott got squeezed a little. Might need just a wisp of tire smoke as he comes off 2.
Darrell, especially 1 and 2. They're starting to move up just a little bit, getting that second groove rubbered in up there.
I'd be looking for that high line if it's me. So that's where you can really make some time once he comes in, if you can get up there first.
Strickland's Dodge scrambling to stay on the lead lap, and right now he seems to be as quick as the leaders. Now, a man who's marched from the back, Robbie Gordon, the outside pole sitter, black flag for jumping the start, and he's climbed up now to 18th place.
Yeah, he just dug himself a hole. It's going to take him all day to get out of. He's going to have to inch his way up there, and somebody's going to turn that 23 car around.
Earnhardt Jr. and Blaney right in the midst of it there with Robbie Gordon and Jeff Burton. Steve Burns.
Mike, we caught with Johnny Benson. Johnny, what happened?
Oh, the 40 car just got the back of us. It landed that spot worse than I did, I guess. I mean, he wasn't inside, but this, you know, you don't expect it from him. But in the same token, I'm sure he didn't mean to do it. So, race and deal, just wish it wouldn't have happened when we're both running top 10.
Johnny, can you get back in the race?
Oh, we'll get back in. I'm not sure how good the car will be, but we need to. We've started off really bad and trying to turn the whole program around. Beverly Pontiac and going pretty good today until that.
He was. He had a solid 6th place run going when he got turned around.
And speaking of getting back in the race, we're at almost lap 150. We've had 6 cautions. 42 cars are out on the racetrack. Boy, Robbie Gordon just got knocked by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car and moved him out of the way. He's going to lose a bunch of spots, but everybody's on the racetrack except Johnny Benson right now.
And Robbie got it again.
Mayfield got a corner of it.
Well, he's trying to get, Robbie's just trying to get back in line. Nobody's letting him. But what happens here, every car will be running at the end of the day. I guarantee you, they'll just be torn all to pieces.
Show you what happened between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Robbie Gordon.
In the race, we're at almost lap 150. We've had 6 cautions. 42 cars are out on the racetrack. Boy, Robbie Gordon just got knocked by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car and moved him out of the way. He's going to lose a bunch of spots. Everybody's on the racetrack except.
Nice save by Gordon. He still can't get down to the bottom of the racetrack, though. Now, finally, he finds a place in line.
And you want to know how you pass at Bristol? That was a pretty good example of it.
Yeah.
Just a little tap. You don't have to knock them hard, just a little tap.
That's it. I like you, Tap, but get out of my way.
I'm coming.
Usually think there's some communication between the driver and the spotter. As you heard a little while ago about the 23 car. Go tell that spotter I need by.
Yeah. Like Junior. Now there, Junior was clear of Craven. Craven gave him a lot of room.
Clear up, clear.
Lost a spike to Jeff Burton, but he and his car survived to race some more, and Craven will have another chance at him.
And what happened there is Craven's spotter say you're clear behind the 99, or you're clear behind wherever the hole is, so the driver knows to drop in when that car goes by.
At the front, Jimmy Spencer, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon. And they begin to get into lap traffic once again. John Andretti and now Dick Trickle.
Well, we continue to have a battle for 11th right here. These guys, teammates last year. Kevin Harvick in the 29, Mike Skinner in the 4.
Skinner's got a good hot rod. I mean, he's moved up to the field a couple of times. Got mixed up there a while ago with some of that lap traffic.
This for 11th place.
You know, a kid I'm impressed with came in here 5th in points, wrecked right off the bat on Friday. Had to go to a backup car. I talked to his crew chief this morning, Chad Canals. He said, Jimmy has finally figured out you just can't drive this place like you drive a Busch car, and he's up in the 8th position after starting 33rd.
Well, let me just say this now. All the Hendrick cars are running good today.
Right.
They're all up. There's 3 of them there in the top 5 or 10.
And I asked Chad, have they run this car this year? He said, no, this was a car used by the 24 team as a backup car for most of the year last year in the front of the truck.
And that includes Terry Labonte, who's also in the top 15. So all 4 Hendrick cars.
All 4 of them are running good today. Good job, guys. Oh, trouble. Gordon is around.
Hard damage in the turn 2 wall.
Damage on the back and a little bit on the
7th caution flag, lap 158. Jeff Gordon slammed into the turn 2 wall.
Come in here, let's look at it, so we can do with it. Thing just spun right out on me, guys.
You heard him say it.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody around him, or I didn't see anybody get into him.
This track plays no favorites.
Oh no, and it'll do that to you. This concrete will do it to you. There he is. Well, he kind of took a dive down underneath the 44 car. There looked like he ran that corner a little bit hard, pinched it down, and it came around.
And sometimes you stick that left front tire down on that apron, it'll make that car loose. It takes the wedge out of the car.
Guarantee you, it unloaded on him and it went around.
All right, if you're one of those leaders, well, here, let's check with Matt.
Well, Mike, right now, Steve Letarte is beating on that left rear quarter panel as the crew is looking at the deck lid, which is crushed in. Also, the dry brake area. That looks like that might be okay, so refueling the car shouldn't be a problem. Now Letarte is putting the wedge wrench in the back, and you see the guys beating on that quarter panel, trying to surmise the damage here to Jeff Gordon's car. Tough break, though, for Gordon, looking for his 5th career win here in Thunder Valley. Steve Letarte still looks underneath. Looking to see what else, what other kind of damage they have here on the 24.
There's a reason why Bristol and Bodywork start with the same letter.
You bring a car here, you don't schedule it for a few weeks because you know it's going to have to be rebodied after you leave here. All of our leaders are on pit road. Steve Burns.
Well, they're Sterling Marlin getting service. They're going to go down a round and a half on the track bar in the right rear. They contemplated taking 2 tires, but they'll take 4. To Dick.
Tony Stewart, minor track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel. Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace, they're going to tighten up a little bit on his race car and send him off. Stewart has already won this weekend. Last night, his sprint car won. To Matt.
Dick down here in the Jimmy Spencer pit, a 4-tire change. He said the car was a little tight in the center of the corner. He couldn't get it to cut. A big traffic jam off pit road. Spencer his team made a slight air pressure adjustment.
Wow. Now, this is where the teams that pitted on the backstretch still have a slight disadvantage because they come around to the front stretch, still at pit road speed. They're in line, bumper to bumper. Everybody coming out of the pits is going to swing in and try to gain a spot or 2 there.
And we've been told the 4-car Mike Skinner was too fast exiting pit road. This won't fall under the new rules because it's under caution. He'll have to start at the tail end of the longest line, so he's put himself in another hole again.
That's good, the tail end of the longest line. Why is that?
What happened when Skinner exited the pit? This is pretty interesting here, but if you have a look where Jeff Gordon's pit is and you widen out to see the speed lines where they measure the speed limit on pit road. All right, now right there's one line and there's the other line of the other box. Here's where Skinner comes out of the pit, so he thinks, well, they can't time him from line to line because there isn't enough distance. But what happened? Skinner pulled out and was visibly faster than the cars that were already in the outside lane of pit road. So it was very clear if there was a culprit, he was it.
But Mike, I think what they've done, they've increased where pit road speed actually ends is that line right there. They've added another segment here that way you can't get going and get too fast. It all happened after they started having those pit road accidents.
Could have got him either place.
Exactly.
But either way, the verdict is guilty. And here it is.
I have never seen 3x3x3 leaving pit road before.
Now here's Skinner scooting out.
I don't see how you can know if he is speeding or not.
There he goes. See right there, he's visibly faster than those other cars, and if you get the watch between those lines.
It was a ball and strike call, and I believe that was a strike.
Jeff Gordon puts the left front down on the flat and puts the left rear into the concrete.
NASCAR Winston Cup Series on Fox, presented by UPS, is brought to you by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
They just restarted one lap ago. Rusty Wallace won the race off pit road, but he's the ninth place car. Trouble in one. Hut Strickland slams Joe Nemechek, and off to the wall they go.
Caution is on the Speedway.
Cautions.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. stopped and let his teammate Steve Park in the one car get his lap back.
Yep.
And that a tough break for this Travis Carter team, which is now down to running one car for Joe Nemechek. They've parked the Todd Bodine car, seeking sponsorship to go the season. This won't help.
Very unsure about what they're going to do for Texas in 2 weeks.
Steve Park got a lap back here, as let's show you what happened going off into the corner.
Well, once again, the guy on the inside, he just gets in there and gets into the guy on the outside. It's just classic Bristol. That's why I always ran that little mirror on my left corner right there, on my left row bar. I always like to know whose nose was sticking in there.
We've seen this happen so many times today. You go off in that corner, drive to the bottom of the hill there. Not enough room for two cars right there at the bottom.
You're going so fast, can't turn, can't stop.
Nemechek's taking his car behind the wall. We should mention that on the previous caution flag, Ward Burton got back on the lead lap. Here comes Steve Park with like a house of fire to beat the leader, Earnhardt Jr., his teammate, back to the line and get a lap back.
And what you hate about what happened to Joe Nemechek there is he's one of those 8 cars that stayed out to try to get the track position, hopefully stay out of trouble, and he gets in trouble with the lap traffic.
Like we said yesterday, DW, and the hits just keep on coming.
Welcome back to the Food City 500. We're live at Bristol, Tennessee. Remember, NASCAR taking a break next week for the Easter holiday weekend, but we'll be back live from Texas beginning Friday, April 5th with Winston Cup qualifying. That's at Fox Sports Net. Then Saturday, April 6th on FX, Winston Cup practice, followed by Busch Series racing presented by Old Spice, and that's on Fox. Then Sunday, April 7th, start your race day with NASCAR This Morning, presented by Smirnoff Ice on Fox Sports Net, followed by the Samsung Radio Shack 500 on Fox, pre-race show on the NASCAR Victory Lane All Access. Sterling Marlin on Fox Sports Net is the Fox Network's your home for NASCAR. Jeff Hammond, earlier you talked about this being a concrete track and how the temperatures sometimes change things. In fact, it was John Andretti who said, the guy who poured this, I wouldn't let him pour my driveway. But we were talking with Richard Childress beforehand with our 8th caution getting ready to go green. As they do go green, he said that they're going to have to change, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the lead, going to have to change the corners and repave them in the future here.
Yeah, he really thought the corners were more square and need to be rounded where guys could transition. We've seen it several times. Guys kind of cutting that corner, getting their left sides down on the apron. He'd like to see that transition smoother, where the guys can drive a little lower and get in the corners, kind of slide up a little bit, would help them a lot, as well as the exits.
One of the reasons we're on pace for what would be a record 23 cautions. Earnhardt Jr., who started 23rd, your leader. Mark Martin behind him. He started 37th. Let's go back upstairs. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joel.
Thanks, Chris. Jeff Gordon stays on the lead lap, but that car it's maintaining speed, but it's not going to be a contender, and it's pretty badly damaged.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're going to rebuild this racetrack to make Richard Childress happy when there's 160,000 people back here.
And I'm corrected. We're showing Gordon as one lap down.
One lap.
Right. Matt?
Well, Mike, let's talk to Robbie Lewis. Jeff Gordon's crew chief. Robbie, how bad's the damage? Is the hose kinked?
Scored pretty good in the back end. You know, we're just going to try to ride it out, get a caution here, try to get it.
Jeff Gordon entered Bristol looking for his 5th win here, but more importantly, trying to get some momentum.
streak of his career without a top 5.
And that's the side the track bar is on, and so it's, and the trailing arm's probably bent. I can't imagine it didn't run the drive pole up in there and rubbing into the back of the transmission.
And Darrell, the biggest problem he has right now, we talked about it a lot earlier, is just getting out of the way of the leaders.
Yeah.
There's just nowhere to get out of the way.
No, you ride up high there. The only thing he's going to help do is clean off that top groove.
Now there's Kenny Schrader, who did not stop on either of the last 2.
Whoa, look at Tony Stewart down on the apron.
Yo, Tony, hang on, buddy.
He was going to try to sneak up there and take that position away from Rusty Wallace.
More on Rusty, Dick Berggren.
Rusty Wallace won his first Winston Cup race here. He won his 50th Winston Cup race here. And Billy Wilburn told him that he thinks they got a car good enough to win the next Winston Cup race here. They have had consistently good pit stops today. They put a round in fight in that last pit stop. The car is nearly perfect. Steve.
Well, Dick, Kevin Harvick on the last pit stop said he wanted more grip off the corner. They took 4 tires and went down half a pound in the right rear. But team owner Richard Childers is a little concerned on the last caution. Came out. Somebody got into Kevin Harvick. Richard asked Jeff Green, his teammate, to go and take a look at the car to make sure it's okay. A little concerned that Kevin Harvick can.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., your leader. John Andretti, way in big trouble up between turns 3 and 4. Might have cut down a tire, but he's way off the pace now.
Yeah, he can't get to the bottom of the racetrack to get the pit road. He can't get out of the way. It's just hard. It's like a conveyor belt right now of race cars.
Well, they call this Thunder Valley, but after your car is torn up like that, it becomes the Lonesome Valley. He'll have to do something to that 24 car. He can't. You got to pick it up a little bit.
NASCAR's told him to pick up the pace or get it off the racetrack, Matt.
Well, Mike, you're exactly right. His last lap was 18.55 seconds. In the driver's meeting, NASCAR officials said the minimum speed, the time will be 18.01 seconds. You can see Gordon is definitely not below that, so they're definitely going to have to pick it up.
He's hit 9 top 5s the last 14 races here. 12 top 10s in the last 14 races, but this will not be Jeff Gordon's day. Only 300 or so laps to go, DW, and we've only had, what, 8 wrecks so far?
Yeah, it's not. It's going to thin out here in a few minutes. They're getting kind of spread out a little bit. Get into a long green here, I hope.
Now there's Gordon's speed versus the race leader, Earnhardt Jr.
And Jeff Gordon's barely running at the end of the straightaway what Dale Earnhardt Jr. is running down in the middle of the corner.
NASCAR times the slow cars electronically. They time all the cars electronically. So there's no guesswork as to whether he's maintaining minimum race pace or not.
And how they come up with that is they take a percentage of how fast the cars qualify, and they'll tell them at the driver's meeting, you must maintain this particular lap speed to remain on the racetrack.
Okay, Joe Nemechek, a victim of a crash with Hut Strickland. Here's Steve.
Thanks, Mike. Joe, tell us what happened and can you get back in this race?
I'm not sure what exactly happened. I got to take responsibility for it because I was a faster car. You know, just trying to race lap cars and trying to get around him, then trying to get it behind him. The 23 car got into me somewhere. I don't know if I got cut down on him or he got me. It's a shame. Best car I ever had here. These guys working their hearts out, trying to get a sponsor nailed down. Car was fast. You know, you just got to finish, and we didn't do it.
Behind the wall, Nemechek, Hut Strickland, and Johnny Benson. Work continues on all those cars.
Now, guys, the other problem Jeff Gordon, Robbie Loomis, that group has, if they don't get up to that required speed, they come to pit road or to the garage area to fix the car. NASCAR gives them one chance to get back out there. If you don't maintain the speed then, they tell you to lower the gate on the truck and load it.
Right, none of this in and out of the garage area and keep working on it. Look at this streak, Darrell. No top 5s in the last 13 races.
Yeah, and you can see the problem with the slow cars running high. When they come off the corner, he's in the way.
At one point, Gordon came off the corner and they were 3 wide, and fortunately everybody gave everyone just enough room.
Now the problem with him running low is everybody's running low. So, you know, there's really nowhere for a wounded car to go.
We see the 24 crew there just a second ago. That's called the crash cart. It almost has every component that's on that race car on that car.
Well, I know, Larry, you would probably tell me stay out there as long as you can, and then we're going to bring it in and work on it. Because, you know, maybe you catch another caution or whatever might happen. But stay out there as long as you can, and we're going to bring you in and work on it.
I'm going to keep asking you, everything feel okay? And until I'm going to make you stay out there until you tell me, Larry, I can't drive it no more. And NASCAR says, you got to fix it.
It'd be probably the NASCAR side that would get us.
Second to Dale Earnhardt Jr. is Mark Martin, then Ryan Newman. And how about Ward Burton, who had that electrical problem, got a lap down earlier, 2 cautions ago. He got that lap back, and he's in 4th place.
That is proof that never give up. And what we're hearing is they had a brake blower. They run blowers on the brakes that cool the brakes. One of those shorted out and caused the battery to have a problem. I mean, here's a guy that was a lap down, almost 2 laps down. They make the repairs, and Tommy Baldwin, his crew chief, he's the king of staying out. They elected to stay out, and here they are in 4th position.
Yeah, we got Ryan Newman up in 3rd place, talking about this guy's, he's pretty awesome. He's up there in 3rd place, minding his own business, and not too far back there in 5th place, our buddy Kurt Busch. So a couple of our young buddies are up there racing hard.
And a lot of this all has to do with pit stop sequencing. This group right here was in the pits a lot sooner than some of the fellows who were running behind them. And so there are 2 different sequences of pit stops going on here.
And again, the fear I always have, I like getting off sequence, but what if we go green? What if we stay green for a long, long time?
You're going to lose 2-3 laps.
I'm going to lose time having to pit under green.
But what that top 5 wants right now, Earnhardt Jr., Martin, Newman, Burton, and Busch, they want a fairly long green run where if the caution comes out, everybody has to pit and not just those guys.
And even it all up.
Well, it's the game you play in the pits. And that's why you see sometimes you're up front leading, sometimes you're back in the middle of the pack fighting for your life.
Early leader Jimmy Spencer now finds himself in 9th place. Jeff Gordon, who led from the pole, is back in 33rd. 9th caution of the day, lap 209, coming off turn 4. Tony Stewart just nudged the back of Ryan Newman. Newman caught it, lost it, caught it, lost it, and then the turn 1 wall caught it.
It's the dreaded wall. You were away. I know. What happened.
Folks, we hate it as much as you do.
Oh, man.
Not as much as Ryan Newman does right now.
No.
He comes in here 2nd in points.
Won't leave here 2nd.
Probably not.
No, he's got the radiator. He's going to have to go behind the wall and do some work. Watch what this starts off at turn 4 down here. Tony's all over he's been beside of him once before. Ryan got way, way down on the flat. Tony gives him a little push. Looked like he's got it saved. Then around she goes. He stays in the gas. That's what all that smoke is. Oof. Probably should have backed out of it because it shot it straight up into the wall.
And then along comes Rick Mast and Jeff Green. They get part of it. Sterling Marlin, remember last week he dodged the big wreck?
Car spinning up on the front, high side up here on the high side. Watch him spinning up there. Stay low. Stay low. Come on. Stay low. Watch that 12. Watch that 12. Go, 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 go.
He dodged another one.
Yeah, he got in the back of the 99, but it didn't hurt anything.
Far right of your screen, Mast and Jeff Green. Trying to take evasive action, become part of the wreck.
Jeff Green's lucky. He didn't. I don't think he hit anything. I think he just spun, and I think Mast may have just spun as well.
Michael Waltrip got a lap back from the leader as they ran to the caution, as did John Andretti. Here's Dick.
Well, the nose of Ryan Newman's car is absolutely flat. The radiator is broken. He left a lot of water on pit road. There's about none in here right now. They've got the crash cart over here. They're going to have to rebuild this car. He had been running in 3rd place before he found the wall.
Well, Dick, Jeff Gordon has also parked his car behind the pit. Tony Gibson and the boys are unhooking the damaged deck lid. They're going to replace it with a new one, also trying to work on the hoses inside for the fuel system. Remember, Jeff Gordon's crew chief Robbie Loomis told you that they did have some damage back there as well, as Tony Gibson has the Sawzall trying to cut off the rear fascia. Jeff.
One of the things we're seeing here, folks, is the fact that all these bars, when they hit into these cars, if you don't have enough bar in behind here to protect your radiator, it gets shoved back in to the rest of the engine area. Bust the radiator, you've got to come in and fix it if you want to continue to run. Just noticed a little while ago, we saw several guys from the 24 car guys run and come get some more parts as far as the rear deck lid. As you can see, right here's a radiator that they're replacing right now in Ryan Newman's car. And we're going to go back here to the back of the car, and I'm going to show you some of the damaged area that's on the 24 24 car. One of the things they're trying to do is reestablish the downforce. We keep talking about grip off this corner. When you lose this rear spoiler, it even has an effect here at Bristol. This is the one thing about aerodynamics. You've got to have a little bit of downforce to make the car bite up off the corner. So they've come down to the garage area, took the deck lid off the backup car, and when they come in to make repairs, they'll change that deck lid out to try to help Jeff Gordon continue this race. And the way things are going, he still may have a decent day. What do you think, Steve?
Well, Jeff, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came down pit road. He said, the car's pretty good, but I'm a little bit tight. Their adjustment, they took a strip of tape. You can see it's numbered 1. Danny Earnhardt just pulled it off the grill, and that was their adjustment here on pit road.
Well, one of the problems they're going to have too, Jeff, that damage is all on the left rear there. And while you're at the deck lid back there, maybe you could show the folks at home the filler neck and all that they're trying to replace so they can put fuel in that car as well.
Okay, Darrell. Right now, you can see this is the filler neck when it's in the car like it's supposed to. Nice straight shot down into the fuel cell. This right here is the overflow vent that lets everybody know that the car is full of fuel. What they've done, they've damaged all this. They've ripped this here loose. I'll show you if this doesn't come loose. You can see it dangling here. This is the catch deal. What they've got to try to do is try to straighten this back out, reestablish it so they can also get the car back full of fuel, but they've got to get this tied down so it's not flopping around, spilling fuel on the racetrack and creating a safety issue. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to get this car back in the race safely.
But they did wait till the caution came out. They rode around there, they got a caution, now they're going to work on it.
Bristol Motor Speedway, the used sheet metal supermarket of NASCAR. 216 laps complete, hardly any of them without incident. Nine caution flags for 54 laps. Jeff Gordon's crew, led by Robbie Loomis, working on that car now behind the wall.
But this is how you win championships. Come in, work on the car, repair it, go back out there, fix it right now. You're in here working on it. Don't patch it up. Fix it right. We're going green. Tony Stewart leading.
Now the cars up front did not pit under this caution.
There was actually 10 cars. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Spencer, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Sterling Marlin, Elliott Sadler, Jerry Nadeau, Casey Atwood, Dave Blaney, and Steve Park, who got his lap back several laps ago. Top 10 cars elected to stay out. Different agendas on this pit strategy.
Race is already at more twists and turns than a Tom Clancy novel. But it is Stewart right now who's out in front of Spencer. Remember, they were both involved in the big one at Darlington 1 week ago.
And not too far behind them is that 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, just kind of lurking along behind them. You got Matt Kenseth and the point leader who is easing his way into the picture as we go. Car 40, Sterling Marlin.
And right behind Marlin, last year's winner, Elliott Sadler.
Quietly working his way up there. That's what he did last year. We didn't talk about him much last year, and all of a sudden, there he was. They have really done a good job with Elliott's car. He and Pat Tyson of tying that car down and making it drive good for him. He told us the other night on the show, they're now fixing the car the way Elliott Sadler likes it, and that's really paying off. He almost spun out then.
Car was very strong last week at Darlington. He finished second.
Yeah, and he finished second at Daytona. I mean, this team has really come around this year. And he attributes all that to a test they did in Lakeland, Florida. They went down there and spent a couple of days, took Mark Martin with them, learned a lot.
Clear behind him. Clear behind.
Jerry Nadeau goes past to pick up the 6th position.
But I want to look at this 7 car right behind Elliott Sadler. Casey Atwood. He's sitting there running in 8th position. Started in 19th, but he's been fast here all weekend long. They said they just didn't get it going for 2 laps on qualifying. I asked Buddy Ragdoll Barnes the history of this car. He said this is the car that Ray Evernham sent to Jimmy Smith's shop and said, here's your first Dodge, guys. Build the rest of them like this race car. A template car, you might call it.
Oh, we'll give Casey attaboy.
Hey, you better believe it. It's good to see this group having a good run here today. This group, Casey Atwood needs this kind of a run.
Yes, sir. He was just coming into his own, I thought, last year in that 19 car at the end of the year. And then he had to go through this transition. But he's a young kid. He'll overcome all that.
All right, Jeff Gordon returns to the racetrack. He's 18 laps back in 36th position. But cars that are more laps down than him are John Andretti, Hut Strickland, Brett Bodine, and Stacy Compton and Buckshot Jones. Only 2 cars make that 3 in the garage right now. Ryan Newman, Joe Nemechek, Johnny Benson.
But if Gordon and that group had tried to do these repairs under green, they'd have probably lost 50 laps. 16 seconds a lap.
Yeah, and he's really struggling with the car. I mean, he's having a hard time hanging on to her.
Now moving up, we just saw Jerry Nadeau pass Elliott Sadler. That was for 6th place. For more on Nadeau's day, here's Matt.
Well, Mike, it hasn't been the best of days for the Hendrick Motorsports team. Jerry Nadeau climbed up into the top 7, and then on his pit stop, Matt Kenseth came in around the 25. He's pitted right in front of Nadeau. He was at a bad angle, so to get out, he had to back up, and he backed up right into the front of the 25 car. Nadeau left, had to come back in to repair some damage to the left front. He lost a lot of track position, dropped all the way back to 29, and now he has soldiered back up to the front. And really, DW, it should not be a surprise with this race car. Last year at Dover, he started at the back of the field and climbed all the way up to finish 2nd to Steve.
Well, Matt, his teammate Jimmy Johnson's having a good day. They came in here with 3 straight top 6 finishes. They last pitted on lap 218, or excuse me, last 158. He's complaining the car's just a little bit tight. Jimmy Johnson running in the 3rd position.
Some cars pitted, some didn't. Let's take you back in the field and pick up a couple who didn't. Here's Rusty Wallace, who is in 16th place, right behind Kurt Busch. Just back of him, Ricky Rudd, and the man who was leading when we got yellow flag fever again, Jeff Burton. Now, Darrell, if you're stuck back there 16th through 20, the spot on the lead lap, I mean, this got to be a tough race to run right here.
Well, you got 2 problems. One, you need to go forward, and you got to keep looking behind you, because you do not want to get hung up there in traffic with lap cars and cars that are not as fast as you are, and the leader runs you down. And Tony Stewart's leading this race, and he is not cutting anybody any slack right now.
Stewart 9/10 of a second up on Jimmy Spencer. Rookie Jimmy Johnson 3rd. Sterling Marlin and Jerry Nadeau as we're 15 laps from halfway in Bristol.